Okay, Fran. So, Fran, where are you zooming in from?
Hello, I'm from Cape Town, South Africa.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, hello, hello, hello. Okay, so you said I work with cacao and ceremony, inspiring and teaching others to live in a sacred way with this spiritual heart medicine. As we call it, to live in right relationship from a place of integrity and trusting ourselves. We've been running a live online training for a few years now, which I'm passionate about. It's changing from 3 months to 6 months, and I'm using this as an opportunity to refine my niche. I would also like more people on this next training, so I'm trying to be more strategic about marketing going forwards. Most of the time, the people have joined have been the right fit, but I just want to check if my niche needs any more work before moving on to getting a signature workshop items and hubs. Great. Okay. So let's hear what you got.
So, I haven't really thought too much about niche before, just because people have attended the trainings and I've always enjoyed working with them. So it's almost like I think in South Africa, anyways, this was one of the first trainings within this niche already of working with cacao in a sacred way and working in ceremony in this way. So I didn't really have to market too much because it was already a niche. And there's more and more of this now being offered. So I'm recognizing the need to be a bit more strategic in market. We also sell ceremonial grade cacao, which we bring in from Bali and Guatemala. So there's a bit of product there, but the main focus and what brings in the money for the business is actually the training. Um, and I've been doing quite a few of your YouTube videos and the drawings around, trying to find the ideal client, and going into my wounds, recognizing that those are often what leads me to my truest niche. And there's so much material that I could actually use, but I don't know if I need to kind of, just let sleeping dogs lie and move on because I don't know. I don't know how much extra work I need to do on this.
Okay. So, well, there are a few thoughts. One is in terms of ideal clients. Yeah, it's good to think this through. There is I'll just do a little screen share here. There's a webinar I have on this topic that is, if I don't mind saying, really good. I've been working on this webinar for years, and last year I felt like it just really finally clicked. So I'll put the link here. And because there's 5 levels of the ideal client, and it's good to think through all of them. So there's that. The other thing is there's a simple exercise you can do. If you just go on YouTube and search Tad Hargrave 3 baskets, it'll show up. But this little video, put the link there, is a good thing to do if you've been in business for a while. You've already had a lot of people go through. And the basic idea is that you think of all the names of the people who you remember who've gone through, good or bad or neutral. You make a list, just one name per index card. And you get 3 baskets, yes, maybe, or no, 3 piles, and you just start putting them. Like, this person is a yes. I wish everybody was like them. This one's a no. They really weren't a fit. Wouldn't want somebody like them to come back. And here's the maybes. Yeah. Basically, you get rid of the maybe pile. But you look at the yeses and you ask yourself, why? What was it about them that made them such a good fit? And the no's, what was it about them? You can learn a lot about who your ideal client is from real life, experience. The other thing is, if you just search on YouTube, Tad Hargrave positioning matrix, this video will come up. It's a conversation I had with a good Danny Inney. And the positioning matrix is a really useful thing especially if you're in a market where there's more and more people coming in. Maybe, as you're saying, you were the first one. Nobody else was doing this, and now more and more people are doing it. If you don't change what you're doing, everyone's going for the same people. So there is a chance to refine. And it's worth really sitting down saying, okay, who else is doing this? And the big question to ask in niching is, well, what's missing? Like, okay, there's a lot out there, but what's missing? What's open? Or what's the thing I'd want to focus on? Given that this is now filled, what do I want to do? What's the thing I want to focus on? And it might be within all the things you've offered, you say, okay, is there any of it I want to let go of? There's now a lot of other people are doing that. So I can let that part go, let somebody else do that. And we're going to focus on this piece instead. So, if you had a yoga studio and you were kind of everybody yoga studio. Well, you could say, you know what, we're going to give up the prenatal yoga class. Somebody else is doing that. We'll just let them have it. And we're going to focus more on the yin yoga because that's the thing we want to do. Yeah. So when more people come into the marketplace, it's a great thing. You get more people doing the same thing. It's wonderful because it allows you to just focus on what you actually want to do.
Mm.
So I do recommend sitting down and really honing in and reflecting on it. The webinar is the best option to just look at what are the 5 levels and what is clear to me on each of those levels so that you're filtering. Because initially filtering it can seem like it'll get you less people because now you're being much more specific. So you're going to lose people. But actually, it makes it much more compelling to the people who are a fit. And in the long term, your word of mouth is so much better because everybody who's in the program is a good fit, and then they tell their friends, and you don't have to deal with the opportunity cost of a space being taken up by somebody who just wasn't a fit at all. So that's my initial thoughts, but how does that all land, or what questions do you have?
Yeah, thank you. That lands. I also, the back of my mind, as you were speaking, I just remembered the saying that the rising tide floats all the boats. And what I've done in the past, my journey has kind of been a little bit of everything. This is a different thought now. Full stop to the rising tide floats all the boats. Full stop. Next sentence. I've kind of done a little bit of everything, and finally I've landed on something that really lights me up. I'm so passionate about it, and I can see myself doing this for the rest of my life. Um, and I'm now kind of focusing in on really letting everything else go and honing in on one thing. So I think there's just a bit of fear of letting too much of this one thing go, and changing direction again, even though it's within the same line. Yeah, but it does also feel good to just mature into that and let the others that are coming up, because also I've been in the yoga space, had studios, so that kind of metaphor or that analogy works really well. And there's enough other people now kind of doing the whole cacao as a superfood and cacao as a way to connect to our friends and have conscious relationships. So I really want to niche into more the sacred work, bringing in a lot more connection into ancestry and our own lineage and all of that. So opportunity, I suppose, to just really niche even more. Yeah,
That sounds beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, and then the next question becomes the hubs. Okay, and so one of the ways you can get to hubs for everyone is when you've got, especially when you've started with the what, okay, what do I want to do? I want to do this particular thing I don't see anybody else doing. I really want to specialize on this thing. Then you look at that and you say, okay, people who are into this would also be into what? If they were into this, they'd probably, sorry, go ahead.
I think that's where I struggle, because I've been thinking about this. I've been going through a lot of your videos, and I'm kind of looking now at the hubs, and I think it can be anything. It really, and now I hear the kind of point of, yeah, but you can't be everything to anyone. You can't be everything to everyone.
Yeah, it's not everything, because ceremony, ancestry, there are very specific, people who are into all of that. Like, well, what else are they into? They're into grief rituals. They're into and like Daniel Foor's work and ancestral medicine work. They're into ritual and ceremony and indigenous culture. They're into plant medicines. You see what I'm saying? Like off the top of my head, that's a bunch of other things that they're into. And all of those could be hubs. All of those could be places where you could bring a signature workshop and talk about this.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's time to niche and expand. Thanks, Tad.
Good to have you.
Appreciate you.
Okay.